Hey, Debbie Pask here, and I wanted to talk a little bit about my favorite topic: how do we create sustainable people in a business? So let's face it, if a business is going to thrive, especially in today's quite modern world, where there's a lot more stress and a lot more pace to what we do, if people are going to really thrive and survive in a business workplace, they need to be sustainable. They need to have their energy sustained. They need to be around an environment that encourages sustainability so that people can do those long years with a business or a company and love it and enjoy it and keep their energy well. What would be some examples of sustainable business for someone? So the first thing I'd say is you have to connect people to passion, why, their purpose, what they love, why they're passionate about what they do. Because long after your willpower runs out every day, passion kicks in after that. So it's the person that's passionate about something that will be watching some sort of documentary on the topic of choice long after everyone else has gone to bed, or someone that is passionate will not even feel like they're working hard if they're loving what they do. So the first thing is passion. How do you connect people to their passion? And I think that's individual for everyone, but if you can link that passion to the workplace agenda or objective or goals, then that's going to massively supercharge the energy of the business. The second thing I would say is the yin and yang balance. You've probably heard me talk about that before if you've watched a video, but just about how we manage our energy day to day. And that takes some energy and effort to practice it. So yin is very much the receiving, the creative, the slowing down. I'd liken it to lucid dreaming or problem solving or resting or filling up or inspired learning. Whereas the yang is the doing, the tasks, the execution, the actions, the sales calls, all of that sort of stuff. So if you want to sustain your people at work, or if you want to be sustainable at work, you need to balance that yin-yang energy of, yang give, expend energy, and yin receive and fill up. And there's very quite incredible, amazing tasks you can do at work that are very oriented toward yin that are powerful. Like, for example, coming up with a creative idea is very yin. It might take a few hours to muse over something that's really beautiful and creative, but once you execute it in a business, it can have far-reaching effects, much more than quick-oriented administrative yang tasks might have, for example. So that's the second thing. The third one is what I would call kindness and understanding. And I've heard this workshop being bandied around, good is the new cool, or even kindness is the new currency, I've heard. And that's so true. If we don't have kindness or understanding in a work environment, then people don't feel like they can have their problems at work understood and managed. I remember really clearly when I worked in advertising many years ago, that wasn't necessarily a culture which was overly kind in terms of understanding people's issues. However, I worked with a girl that had chronic pain. She had an illness that came on, and it was she needed surgeries, and there's a lot of chronic pain. And I'll never forget my beautiful manager at the time, Jane. She actually gave some money to this person and helped them have some time off and funded them while they weren't at work for a period of time to help with their pain management. And so when this person came back to work, she was just so connected to the culture. She was really thriving because she felt like she was looked after and there was kindness there. So it's all about how can we be more kind and understanding so that when people go through their ups and downs, and let's face it, they will, whether it's illness or relationship issues or just struggling with life, when people go through ups and downs, if there's some kindness that can be practiced around the way that they're managed, then that person is going to be sustainable in your business long term. The other thing is flexibility. That's a difficult one because everyone works very differently, but there's a lot of workplace cultures that are bringing in work from home or flexible arrangements or hours. I think that's critical for us to survive as a culture, especially in the West, around how we work. We can't be location specific all of the time or time specific. People like work in different time zones and time frames and hours, and we can't just be this one-stop shop. However, I have seen a lot of those flexible arrangements get really bent out of shape and people take abuse of them. So it's really about how do we empower people to be passionate, be kind to them and give them flexibility within reason. So if someone is working from home and they've got a natural driven mindset. Like I've worked for myself for so many years now, it's a natural muscle. But if someone, starts working from home and they don't have those skills, we need to empower them with those skills. So whether that's theming their week or giving them a certain amount of outcomes, or doing what a friend of mine, Phil, does called the daily rock, where they have a thing they just have to achieve every day that's really powerful and big. Or, as I said, I'm a big fan on theming your week. This week's all about this event, or this week's all about this sales deal, or this week's all about staff reviews, whatever it be. It's really powerful to do that. So flexibility is really important for people's lifestyles, so that they can sustain what's happening, because lots of people's lives are changing. There's a lot more split families, there's a lot more changing in relationships at home and financial changes. So flexibility is huge for sustainability. And the last one that I'm going to mention in this video is culture. It's a really widely banded term around, but culture is really important to help people connect with what the business is about on a very emotionally intelligently level. So, for example, we know that consumers make decisions around the limbic brain, the emotional brain. Do I identify with that value system? Do I think that's emotionally the right decision? We know that people make quite big financial decisions based on the limbic brain. So if someone's at an auction and they're looking at buying a house and they're falling in love with that particular house, some people, if they have the finances, will pay $100,000 more for that property just so that they can get their emotional needs met. So if we apply that same thing to people in the workplace, if you're really connected emotionally to the culture, that's going to be a long-term sustainable thing for someone. But if I'm not connected emotionally to the culture, and I actually don't believe in it or buy in it or connect to it, then it's not going to take a lot for me to make an emotional decision to leave, to go somewhere else, or to explore other opportunities. So I think that if you think, connect to their passion and purpose, manage your yin-yang energy flow so that you're not burning out, you're filling up and giving out at the same time. Have some flexibility with how people like to work. Have kindness underpinning how you manage people or how you manage yourself. Kindness also relates to self and others. And also the culture being an environment that is matching the people that you're working with. So having that culture really strong is important to sustainable people. Hope that gives you some help to not only build a sustainable team for yourself if you're a manager, but even if you're someone who's working in a team, this is what you need to thrive personally. Thanks for listening.